tonight for the Children's Advocacy Center. This is a very near and dear cause to my heart. I am a survivor of aggravated sexual assault and aggravated incest. So thank you again, Heather, on behalf of all survivors for this fundraiser. Not many people know how prevalent this crime is, and it happens right under our nose in our backyard every day. According to the Alamosa County Department of Human Services, the rate of child sexual abuse in Alamosa County alone is 32.5 children per 1,000 in population. That is more than 4 times the average of the Colorado statistics, which is actually 8 children per 1,000. So, with that being said, in Alamosa alone, with a population of 15,400, there are 500 victims in Alamosa County of childhood sexual abuse alone. So there is a very real possibility, more likely a probability, that you're looking at somebody or know someone who has been a victim or is now a victim of childhood sexual abuse, including myself. And there goes my sash. So I would just like to reiterate that these people, there's 27% of Alamosa's county population is under the age of 18, and so about 136 of these victims are still minors, and they have scars that are very fresh in their mind. And again, I would just like to reiterate that we're all here to give them an opportunity, and we're here to raise awareness about this crime. Let me readjust myself here. As I move forward, I would like to, before I tell my story, I would actually like to tell you another story, and this actually happened about 3 months ago. I have a friend, and for her privacy, we're just going to call her Ann tonight. She came to me, and I had known her for a very long time. I'd known her since approximately 2008, and I was back then just starting out as being an advocate, raising awareness and trying to talk about sexual abuse and my own story and just bringing it to light. About 3 months ago, she called me up and said, I would like to talk to you. Can we go have some coffee? And I said, sure, no problem. I would love to meet with you. It's been a long time. Where do you want to meet? Let's do it. When I got there, she had told me that she wanted to come forward as a victim. And she wanted some resource information and some help, and known that I had been a victim's advocate, and I was able to give her the resources that she needed. So she then proceeded to tell me her story. When she was a child, she had been confronted because there were allegations that she had been sexually molested, and there had been other allegations, and it turns out it was her daycare provider who had, these allegations had been coming out against. And she remembers being brought into a room by a counselor, and I believe maybe I think her mother, one of her parents, and a police officer. And the room that they had brought her into, without warning, they just pulled her out of class, brought her into another room. I don't know if she was in class, but they pulled her into this room, and the point I'm trying to get to is they sat her down into a chair, and the chair that was in this room had handcuffs on it. So when she was sitting in this chair and she was being questioned by the police officer and by this counselor and by her mother and people who were not trained specifically to deal with children and sexual abuse, she felt like she was in trouble, and she froze. She felt like if she said something or said anything wrong and even came forward, that she was going to be the one who was going to be punished. She remembers the handcuffs clear as day, and that was the biggest thing that she, just could not get over. And so when she was telling me her story, I just, she was crying, and, we were crying together, and I said, you know what, you were a child. This is not your fault. It is that man's fault, and you know what, it was not handled the right way. But her biggest regret to this day is because she didn't come forward. And I'll tell you why. The reason why she came to me 3 months ago is because she was stopped in her tracks when she was in a store and ran into her offender. And not only was her offender there in front of her, but he was with another child. So for her, her biggest regret in not saying, yes, this happened to me because of the way that the process was handled back then, is now she feels the guilt and the shame of maybe there might be more victims out there. And maybe she could have helped somebody had she come forward back then. And again, I had to tell her, this was not your fault. This is something that was mishandled. You were a child, there's handcuffs, you were frightened. I mean, that is no way for a child to feel when they are coming forward for something that they didn't do. And it just breaks my heart. So again, the Child Advocacy Center is a huge, huge role in the children's lives that we're trying to reach out to. The way that these things are handled, it takes such courage for somebody to come forward at any age, let alone being a child being confronted. I came forward as an adult, and even if being an adult and coming forward, I lost my entire family over this. They did not know how to handle it. One of them being a minor at the time. I had a brother. I lost 3 brothers during this process. And, I know the Advocacy Center helps not only the victims, but the non-perpetrators and the families of the victims as well in dealing with these types of crimes. It's really important that we reach out and people know that these resources are available, because even back then, if I didn't know these resources were available, or if my family members had these types of resources available, I might have a family to this day, and I don't. And it's really sad, and it breaks my heart. And I'm just so grateful that Heather has taken the initiative to put something like this together, and to CASA and the Child Advocacy Center and the Alamosa Police Department and the Nurse SANE Network. And so the SANE Network is, and I don't even want to repeat it, it's just so hard, but it's a sexual assault nurse exams for children. And it's just, it just gives me chills to even have to repeat that. But these types of resources and functions, they go hand in hand in order to streamline the process for children, in order not to re-victimize the children every time they have to go and tell their story, every time they have to go to the cops, and then they have to go to a counselor, and then they have to go and get an exam, and then they might have to go to court more than once and see their offender and be interrogated and have to stand trial. I mean, these things, this type of advocacy center is going to help ease that process and ease the pain that already exists for these children. And again, it's just such a painful thing and such a painful process, but any way that we can make it easier and raise more awareness is just that much better for the victims to become survivors and not to be re-victimized throughout this process. I'm so grateful, Heather. I'm so grateful that you have taken the time and taken your efforts and energies and everything that you've done. And I'm so glad, speeding ticket or not, to come down here and be given the opportunity to raise awareness and help talk about this and to get it out in the open. And I want you to look at the person next to you. I want you to look at the children running around in this room and think, what would I do if that were my child? What would I do if that was myself? How would I handle that? And here's a way that we can help. So I'm going to finish up with some ways that you can help today and some ways that you can help in the future. First off, you can help tonight, right now, by bidding on the silent auctions that you see before you. The money and the proceeds from tonight's benefit are going to go to the Child Advocacy Center and to CASA, and to help with building the first year of this program and getting it off the ground and helping Alamosa County. The closest place that a child or survivor could go right now, as it stands, is in Pueblo, which is about 2.5 hours away from here if you're not going 100 miles an hour. So, a lot of times, Pueblo, when the cases are reported, there's about 40 cases that get reported according to the statistics in 2010, and about 22 of those cases were founded accusations. So just imagine how many more children are out there that can't get to Pueblo. I think those numbers would be much higher. And just think about how long it takes to get to Pueblo, and with the snow, in the winter months, and with the mountain passes. sometimes I think those cases will go and fall through the cracks. So tonight, again, we can raise money for this new program right here in your own backyard to help your own children by giving to this fundraiser, by donating and bidding on these silent auctions. Another way that you can help is to make a major gift. Make this dream a reality for CAC and the Child Advocacy Center. You can ensure child abuse victims and their families are not going to be left out or re-victimized by the systems that are designed to protect them. Your organization can leave a lasting legacy in the San Luis Valley community, forever demonstrating its commitment to our children. You can become a champion of children. Champions of Children are a very special group of people or organizations who provide ongoing support for the CAC program. As a champion of children, again, I want that podium. Pledges of $1,000 to up to $5,000 for the first 5 years underwrites the program for the children whose lives have been devastated by victims of sexual abuse and violence. Your contribution will give the stability they need to plan for the future. Also, you can sign up for monthly giving. We are grateful for any and all support. If you're unable to give a major gift at this time, please sign up to give a smaller amount. Even $5 a month will ensure that the CAC program survives. This financial support is a lifeline to the CAC and the CAC program and to your own community. So I strongly urge you to give any way that you can. And if you can't give financially, find out ways that you could volunteer. Find out ways that maybe you can become a part of the program itself. Find out ways that you can get people to donate or businesses. It's tax deductible. If you own a business or somebody who does, maybe you can help by sponsoring the programs or advertising for the programs. It all goes to this charity, which, again, I wish I had these resources when I was a child or even as an adult that could help my family at this point. At this point, there is no help for me, but maybe I can help somebody else. And with Heather's help and with your help, I think that we can all help these little children right here. So thank you again, and I appreciate your time, and thank you for coming out tonight, and enjoy. I hope you guys had a nice meal. I heard it was a nice Mexican buffet, and I think that I'm going to start my own bidding. So again, thank you very much.
And Lori knows all about having to face her perpetrator. The line knows she's personally spent the last year trying to keep hers from being released on parole. So she's been working very, very diligently. And she has also just recently been named to the Rocky Mountain Board of Law?
Rocky Mountain Victims Law Center Board of Directors.
Rocky Mountain Victims Law Center Board of Directors. And she is currently the only person on that board who is not an attorney. So that says a lot for what she's doing as an advocate. So I just want to thank Lori. And again, Lori talked a lot about Alamosa County and the statistics in Alamosa County. But this Children's Advocacy Center doesn't just benefit Alamosa and Alamosa County. It may be located in Alamosa, but it benefits all 6 counties in the San Luis Valley. So we encourage you to make your donations, make your bids on the auction, make your donations to the donation boxes or one of the ladies sitting over at the entry. And we just thank you again for being here and for your support and encouragement. We're just very, very grateful for all of you and for what you have helped contribute tonight. So.